Today's already starting off pretty bad. I was completely caught off guard by daylight saving yesterday. So when I was up in I sometimes I'll try to go to sleep at maybe 2, 3 in the morning. Um, it went from 1 to 3. Just skipped an hour, and I was very surprised by this. And then later on in the day, when I was just drawing or just I was doing something related to like making well some video. I just got really tired. It was like around 6 o'clock, and I fell asleep for like 2 hours. And then I thought, because a lot of times I get irritated if for the morning I'm sleeping, not all morning, but for like a big portion of the morning I go to sleep, and then during the afternoon or evening prematurely I'll go to sleep. So let's say a bedtime I'll make for myself is like 12 or 1 o'clock, and I go to sleep at 6, and I don't wake up until 8. It's like, well, maybe I should stay up 2 hours later to make up for that. And it just when you then wake up at like 10 some the next day, you wonder, did the gambit pay off? But I wouldn't have even made a choice like that if I had not fallen asleep during the afternoon, or I guess the evening rather. So a lot of irritating things are happening. Yeah, on that Saudi Arabia video I did, I have about 3 comments on it. 2 of them from people I've never seen before, so that automatically is, just me gonna, ignore them. I think it's really funny that people support, because I've said before, I don't support the death penalty. I don't like the idea of the government being able to decide who lives or dies because they did stuff that we believe is wrong. So I don't support state sanctioned death, but it's really, I guess it's nice to know that people on here do. It's really funny when you just look at some of the stuff people write. Like this guy, like I don't know what it is with these online guys calling me their brother, my brother, 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 bro. Like, shut up. I'm not. We're not related. I would probably prefer being executed myself than be related to half the people on this website. That's how bad most of the ones on here are. I don't know what their fetishization is with that word, bro, my brother, brother. Like, shut up. They have this one word that's part of their little lingo. They have to use it toward everybody. I was talking to this one person. They said it's because of that's new. They said it's because of familiarity. So when they say it, they want to convince themselves they know you or are friendly toward you, but like we don't know each other. I just think people online are really weird. Okay, Jim said hello. I'm not going to talk to Jim because I caught him writing some pretty mean stuff about me in the background, and I'll be exposing him in the video coming out this week. He's being revealed for the two timer that he is. Let me read Akatsuki Merchant's comment. I'm fully convinced that the people on this website are subhumanly stupid, and the only reason they type this crap is because no one in real life will take them seriously. Apparently, I mean, my thing is, I don't quite understand how a human being, right? Because we all have stuff that disgusts us, right? We have people that do evil stuff that we're aware of, but I don't get where a human being who wants to like lecture me about how evil my government is like I didn't know what point he was trying to make. I was really confused reading his message. Like, okay, so are you trying to say that because I'm American, I can't speak about this particular country. Like I don't know what angle he was pursuing this from. It was really confusing. That's why I said trying to respond to these people a lot of times is just such a waste of time because they're saying things that no one understands besides themselves. If you remember, Akatsuki Merchant, there was a guy who came on one of my streams. I remember it was in October, and he was writing these riddles, like all this weird stuff that like no one could understand. He was like, maybe you guys are not capable of getting my complex answers. Like, dude, no one gets what you're saying. What are you talking about? So, this is just a thing people do online. They write stuff that no one gets besides them. Talk in nebulous terms, type up insane garbage. Like it's weird. And they always act like they're so, like what they're saying is so profound. It's like, come on. And the way people talk about men and women on the internet is so weird. Well, like I said, in real life, when I was in school and, even just in general conversations, I knew guys who talked about how they thought some woman was hot or they thought some woman was ugly, whatever. And now you come online and everybody's talking about chicks as if they're all so amazingly beautiful and they're gods among men. I'm like, this doesn't happen in real life. Like when they were talking about the women that you approach are out of your league, and I've never shown what a single one of them look like. They just assume they're all so breathtakingly beautiful. And like I said, this is total BS because again, guys in real life talk trash about the way that chicks look, and hell, they even do it on some websites too all the time. So I don't know where they even begin to parrot this idea. They act like groups are a monolith and only like certain groups because they read some out of context statistics. We already talked about how we have statistics. I mean, we have proof of like dumb stuff chicks do. I actually had one send me a message yesterday, and she said she hadn't said anything to me in like 4 months because she forgot the password to her account. And the thing is, like I was saying all the stuff about I don't like having to sit here month after month to talk to somebody, but I'm a lot more lenient if it's a person who I genuinely believe like just couldn't speak to me because of something that like happened with them. So for example, when I was talking about the one that had the server where she made the lock VC room, like that's a person who's online every day who you see being active on that site, change their avatar over and over again. So, that's someone who could have said something but didn't. This is one where it really does seem as if she's telling the truth, just wasn't active or even using that site month after month. So I'm more lenient and forgiving of that than the other trash these people do. Because I don't usually hold it against somebody if they just don't use a site period. Like I remember one of my mods, I hadn't spoken to him in a whole year before like I think a month ago, you know. But again, that's someone who was not on Discord and who just wasn't active online at all. So it really just depends. I hate how people always try to characterize me as this impatient individual, but like I said, who like when you see people who have a chance to speak to you over and over just squandering it, you get pissed, especially if you want to talk to that person. Statistics are an average, not an absolute. It irks me when people use statistics incorrectly. They're meant to be used to observe trends within the demographic, not assign a label to it. Right. So I could say that children born out of wedlock are more likely to not graduate from college, right? But it doesn't mean that every single time someone doesn't graduate from college or high school or just like they're automatically the product of two parents that weren't married. It's just again we're talking about the trend, not an absolute. So yeah, a lot of people like to do stuff like that where they just take whatever statistic they can find and twist it in such a way. I remember there was this one statistic where it's like 90% of like some number of some high number of chicks admits to being like I guess harassed, and I'm like, well, okay, but that still should not equal believing every single time one of them says this without any type of proof. Like I've seen people on Twitter say they will automatically believe chicks until they have evidence of otherwise. So they actually believe guilty until proven innocent if you're a man, which I think is just really disturbing. I don't understand how people can't just can't figure this out. Like that's why the Jimmy Dore stuff from last year was so creepy. Like you know I watched TYT's little like hit piece video on him, and all the people who believed he harassed this woman, which I thought was BS for multiple reasons, whatever. We went to that last year. The only people who believed her were people that already didn't like him. Like I watched must be three, four, five different videos that other commentators and I look at their other stuff on and they already didn't like him. So it's like it's really disturbing how if someone doesn't like you, they'll just parrot any type of BS that is said about you, regardless if it's true or not, and it has no evidence or proof. I remember when Sean Hannity got accused. I didn't go around and say, "Oh yes, he must have done this." No, I thought the woman's story was stupid. He was seduced me at a hotel, then at a bar. Like get out of here. I thought it was total garbage. Even if I don't like that particular commentator, I'm not going to sit here and slander that person the first chance I get. The statistic simply means that please don't start discussing them. Yeah, not trying to get into that stuff. No, that's one topic I actively avoid because yeah, people like to get very upset about. What gets me is like you'll have someone who's part of that group, and then they'll like remember when you call them something that is mocking of their transition, people will say you're transphobic, right? But then when someone who's part of that group calls me the N word or some other racial slur, nobody cares. Like how does that work? Or they call you, some that denotes your masculinity. You're not supposed to get upset. So I said I always felt like a lot of these groups, they believe they should be respected and protected, but then when you want the same thing back, they can't give it. It's that's why I say that people expect a lot out of someone online, just in terms of like having like active double standards and just expecting you to put up with stuff that other groups of people don't have to. It's really sad. No, that's one group of people I try not to say anything about ever. I always make sure I'm able to avoid even bringing them up in anything because people just like I said, it's really funny because a lot of times you'll just be discussing something and then another person will bring it up and then you start to talk about that and then someone will be offended. And it's funny because a lot of them they don't even say anything in the stream until they're upset. They're like, "This has angered me so much to come out of the shadows." Like, all right, I've never seen you say anything disparaging about them. Well, let's just say a few years ago, one of them came and said some nasty stuff about me, and I said some nasty stuff back. And then they tried to play victim, and somebody in my comment section was like, "You are so disrespectful towards these types of people." I'm like, "They're this particular like I'm talking about this particular one that said a racist and very offensive thing to me. So why am I expected to like bite my tongue? Like why are they able to say this gross stuff about me? But whatever, man. It's just I think it's nuts. It's just blatant double standards. They can talk to you any kind of way they want, but then if you respond in turn, oh my god, it's kind of like if I went up to a let's say a white person, I called them a racial slur. Okay, well then, but if the white person retorts and calls me the N word, I can probably infer that if I didn't call the white person a racial slur, I would have been called one back. No, you weren't saying nasty things about yeah, that one in particular because they like, and I said that in the stream. This particular person upset me. Like, dude, I already said it's total BS. Like, I defended them when Trump did his stupid transgender military ban. I think it's complete bogus to like even sit here and act like I'm actively doing stuff. Nobody's even like, at least I'm not anyway. They act like you talk about one, you're talking about the whole group. It's like, no, there's one particular person upset me because of stuff they said, and they got responded to. So I'm not even really that like I'm comfortable enough with it to just be like whatever. I don't sit around as some type of boogeyman bothering whole groups of people. Just because I say nasty things about one woman doesn't mean I'm applying that to well, oh, that's how Dingbat, what's her name? What's that broad's name that came on the stream the weekend before last? The Crossdale, my brain is in hell one where she's like, "You're still speaking nasty about women." I'm like, this one broad. Dude, she's so weird. Like, I still think that's a guy, but that person is so weird. They were telling me to say 10 good things about all women. I'm like, no, I don't know all chicks. I could name 10 decent chicks. That's easy. Like historically. But no, I'm not about to sit here and give some kind of like generalizing praise to billions of people. The hell with that? I wouldn't ask you to say 10 good things about all men because that'd be damn near impossible. Unless you're talking about a group of men or some specific man in particular, you shouldn't even bother with that. So I said I don't get that weird like fake unity that they have, where they all just where like one of them pretends that they're this big collective. Because we said before, chicks hate each other uh to extents that are very much under report or under discussed. Like I remember going on what was that, Twitter, and seeing those chicks that were talking trash about just for example, like they were talking trash about Scarlett Johansson, talking about, oh, she can't act, and all this other I'm like, I don't get how you pretend to have unity, but then you speak disparagingly about one of the chicks who's way more worth a damn than pretty much all the rest combined, but whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, get out of here with your fake unity. A lot of groups try to convince you that they're all like connected and friendly toward each other and so in love, and it's total garbage. If you catch them on a bad day or even just a normal one, they'll be talking disparagingly about somebody. I'm still laughing at that one guy that tried to compare. He was like, if you could get with Beyonce instead of Oprah, you would get with Beyonce. Like, what a bizarre comparison. Oprah is one of the most accomplished women that's ever lived. Like I don't see how anyone could even speak about her in such a way as to make her sound like a downgrade compared to somebody else. That's really bizarre. Like it was just a really strange thing to even come out, like to even have somebody type to you like, what the hell? No, they're really nuts. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the way people act on here. If that made that apparent before. No, people do like to pretend they symbolize a whole group. Like, oh, you spoke bad about this one woman. You hate all women. It's like, when did I ever say that? That should be a separate video about like how all these people do the psychiatrist stuff because I'm really tired of that. Like I don't know why people can't just watch a video of someone talking and agree with what's being said or disagree with what's being said. Why does there have to be this like deep diagnosis into who they are as a person? Like I swear up and down since from the time I first joined this website up until now, I've never gone on some guy's video and said in response to his points, "Oh, you're ugly. Oh, I don't like that you're wearing this." Like I've never done that. And I don't get why it's like what the point of that stuff is. It's just so weird to me. It's so funny to me when underachievers try to degrade the success of people who have accomplished way more than they ever will. Just like I was telling you about that one broad on Discord that was talking trash about the like I had a meme where I had a picture of FDR smiling, and I would send to people. I'd be like, "This is me when I see a message from you." And I sent to like three people. Two of them said, "Ha ha ha ha!" You know, like they thought it was funny, right? Because it's a meme. And then the woman's like, uh, the way his face looks creeps me out. Now here's a bimbo who claims she's not into men, who's hiding her own face, and it's like this is the same broad who was saying she doesn't like it when people criticize chicks, but you're gonna criticize this man over the most stupidest thing ever. Like what's wrong? And I even point this out to her. I'm like, you can't tell me that you get offended when people criticize chicks and then be surprised or unable to comprehend where I, as a man, feel offended when you talk disparagingly about a man who's accomplished more in what 60 years than you ever will even if you live for 300. Then more than you and every single other person on Piscord currently combined. Oh, we already talked about that stupid person. You've never heard, like people you've never heard of before calling you a loser. Yeah, like they're so accomplished. I tell you, the funniest thing is having it be said here. It's like, I'm a loser, but you came to my channel to watch me. You're writing stuff to get my attention. You knew who I was, but I didn't know who you were. Yeah, you're way more successful than me. Mhm. You're concerned about my love life, whereas I couldn't care less about yours. Yeah, you're definitely the winner between the two of us. Absolutely. Look, Akatsuki Merchant, even like you can find people unattractive physically, right? Like, but my thing is, he wasn't a model. Like, he was a politician. Like, why does his physical appearance matter? And then it's like, okay, what like, dude, it was just a stupid thing that bimbo said. And as I stated before, um, that caused me to stop speaking to her. I said, I don't want to talk to a broad who's going to tell me about all the plights of chicks and how they get judged and all this other crap. But then you're going to sit here and attack the way this man who never did anything to you looks. I think that's stupid. Especially if you claim to not even be interested in men. Why are you assessing his appearance? Weird hoe. I'm telling you, Akatsuki Merchant. I've never as a straight man sat back and was like, I don't think this senator is hot. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like this, like they're there to do a job. They're not this like whatever. It's weird. It's weird. Like I'm not attracted to men, so I don't sit around like looking at I don't know pictures of men and like assessing if I think they're hot or not. Like and that's my point I was making. Like this is supposed to be a gay woman. Why is she whatever? It doesn't make any sense. Look, she's just a stupid, insignificant, bottom of the barrel, worthless garbage broad. That's all she is. You will never know her name. You will never hear of her in any conversation about that is worth a damn period. Just completely inconsequential. She could have never existed and there'd be no difference. Her girlfriend would probably be more rich because she told me that her girlfriend was paying for her to live with her, some kind of, uh, gold digger situation. So, that's why people have to demean others for the way they look, because they know that other people, whether they be historical figures like FDR or they be regular individuals just post content like yours truly, have done more than them, and they know they'll never come anywhere close to what we have. That they just really they write that stuff to feel better about themselves. But she, like, it's just another inconsequential chick. It's funny, like Akowski Merchant, like we really could just sit here and go through all the different presidents that had affairs, and it's like you really you like it's cool that you want to sit here on your little phone and say that this person's ugly now, but they sure weren't back then. But it's just so sad that people get caught up on just stuff that doesn't matter. Like it's really pathetic. Yeah, the only time you'll see me talk about the way someone looks if I'm drawing a picture of them, um, because I am trying to like get down the details of a person's face or get like a certain angle or whatever. But even then, that still isn't the same as this person is ugly. I don't really see a need to do that. Yeah, FDR had many lovers because he was known for being a charismatic strongman. I mean, hey, you don't have to tell me. What the hell do you think this channel is about more often than not? The news. Yeah, I think out of all the presidents between Roosevelt and, I'd say, what Nixon, the only one that didn't cheat was Truman. Because I remember there was some rumor about Eisenhower cheating, and it being like reported, or there being some paper about it and Truman burning it. So other than him, like all of them had different affairs with somebody, which whatever. I mean, people still do that today. I remember when Ralph Abernathy wrote his, not remember, like I was there, but it's so funny to think about how here he is, the number two guy to Martin Luther King, like his basically his vice president for the civil rights movement, and the main thing from his autobiography that people remember is him claiming that King had affairs with other women, which I don't have any reason not to believe this was his number two guy, but I don't know what the big deal is. I mean, people cheat, like they do that all the time. They still do it. And if someone you already liked does that, it doesn't really bother me that they did it. It doesn't erase what else they did that I did like. Now, I think the only time somebody should feel offended if a person they never met before cheats is if what's the way of saying it? If it's no, you know what? I take it back. Like, I just don't get being so angry and like, I can't believe they did this over someone that you've never met before. Like, if you're being cheated on, I completely understand the rage, but just, oh, here's this politician that I don't know. They cheated. Ugh. I had that one weird guy try to make my 5 positive things about black women simply because I was talking about some stupid thing one black woman did. Yeah, why do you have to state good things about an entire gender and ethnic group because of like disparaging one member? I don't understand. Really sad that people act like this. That's all I'm gonna say. I tell you, Cos Commercial, it's always someone who hides their face that talks about the way another person looks. Dude, when I unfriended her, I should have said he did more in 12 years than you'll do in your entire life. Hell, he did more in one term than in 4 years than you'll do in your entire life. No, I don't sit around talking that way about people. Ugh. He was like, "Not all black women are like that. Stop projecting your mommy issues onto black women. Like, dude, get your panties out of a bunch." I was talking about one person. Well, I tell you, they all like playing psychiatrist. Like, I remember I had some weird broad who had it was I don't know if it was a broad, but it's like someone who said he needs a mentor, and another one was like, "Is your dad in your life?" I'm like, what the, what? Dude, that was funny. The mentor, I was like, "So is the mentor going to make chicks like you back? Like, what special power does this mentor have?" Dude, all somebody does when they're supposedly mentoring you about chicks is just give you a bunch of cliche advice, and then even if you listen to it, you still get the same result. They refuse to believe that they gave you stuff that didn't work out. You get the same result. What other dumb crap did they write? You don't have a mouthpiece. You're probably boring. It was like, dude, if you don't stop pretending these chicks are so interested, whatever. It's just all of it was so stupid. But you know what I'm saying? Like 99 problems you can find this one man before you'll ever say maybe these chicks didn't know what they wanted and wasted people's time. That's what happens when you're so obsessed with one side, you give it complete amnesty over being critiqued. I'm getting ready to defend this woman I've never met before. Wish me luck. I don't know. People online are just really sad and miserable. Like I sometimes I'll look up like a certain it could be a politician, it could be an actor, right, that's been dead for 10 years or even longer than that. And I'll just go and look up videos on them. And you'll have somebody in the comments section who's like, this person was this, that, and the other. I'm like, what I find really interesting is that you claim you hate this person, but then you're watching videos about them. Like anytime somebody uploads something with their name in it, you're on the video trying to say something about them. Like I don't like Cruz, right? The senator from Texas, but you don't see me every time he puts out a podcast episode or uploads on his channel. There I am in the comments section. Like I don't, it's not even worth it. So that's another part of it that just seems really sad to me. That like some of these people aren't even alive anymore, and they'll just sit there and just think about them constantly. To where anytime you talk about them, they magically appear on videos about them. It's so where it's like there's three stages to it. There's people who remember you fondly. There's people who don't like you, right? Clearly don't like you, but then they remember you so much to where if anyone talks about you, they'll come and say something they find out about it. Or there's um there's people who just don't know who you are, which in a lot of instances is kind of pathetic, but whatever. Like I remember I was watching that secular talk video where he was trying to push back on Pelosi being called the greatest speaker in the House of all time, and he admitted he didn't know any speakers of the House besides her. And I thought that was so, her and Paul Ryan. I was like that's so pathetic. That's really like you had like how do you forget Sam Rayburn? The man who literally was an architect for the civil rights legislations of the 60s. Like it's complete ridiculousness. But again, I'm not the person with 900,000 subs, so I don't get to be ignorant of stuff that I claim to care about. Everybody's got 900,000 subs now. Everybody's got 800 or 900,000. There was this one guy I was watching, and the last time I watched him, I swear, I remember when he made a video about how he had like 90,000 something subs and he needed 100. That's like 2 years ago. And now I go on his channel, he's got like 800. So I was like, what the heck? So it just seems like, that's everyone's going to be in that same bracket soon, except for, certain people that don't get any bigger year after year, but, whatever. Um, but I think it's really sad that someone that's that big can't take like, because he films the news statement, not the news statements, the news segments. These aren't live videos being made. So I don't know why when he picked this story, he couldn't just go on. Hell, I don't even like them, but go on WikiPiss for like 2 seconds and look up speakers of the houses and determine which one you like the most. Like it's not hard to do that. And that's why it kills me that these people are like celebrated as being these political geniuses. Like they don't even know who their own damn historical figures are. Whatever. Everyone is a psychiatrist. Everyone is going for a psychology degree. I'm just so tired of the over analysis. Like I'm telling you, when I watch people's videos and they say something I don't like, I'll point out something I think they're doing that's hypocritical, right? But I won't say, oh, this person's relationship with their mother is probably screwed up and they probably were picked on when they were a child. Like, like denote all of this from just watching a video of someone talking about stuff that's completely unrelated? Like, what the hell does your mom have to do with how hard it is to get a date? It's like what like again, it's just weird, you know? Everybody wants to play psychiatrist. They want to come on here and diagnose somebody. You looked away from the camera. That shows you have attention deficit disorder. Like, what are you talking about? You didn't smile all the way through the stream. That's how I know you're not a Buddhist. It's like, all right, just analysis to the point of absurdity. That's what's so irritating about these people. They just sit here and just look and look and look, and it's like you guys are these are grown adults in a lot of cases who just have nothing better to do but analyze this one person, and again, their purpose for doing it is very nefarious. Like, I'm going to look for something I have a problem with regarding a person I've never met so that when they get rejected by chicks, I can say, oh, this makes sense. You see what I mean? Like, they're just very antagonistic. Like, you've never even done anything to these people, but that's how they view you. I've talked to so many women online who tell me they're going for a psychology degree, so therefore they're allowed to make assumptions about me. If that's the case, you're a terrible psychologist. I could have sworn the first rule about psychology was that you can't diagnose someone you've never met before. But I'm telling you, a lot of people think if they watch a video or a stream of you, they know you. I remember in my, I think it was the Romance Curse video, there was a guy I showed where he was like, I know from watching your videos that you're not ready for a relationship right now. I'm like, how the hell do you determine from watching a video, which we all talk about public personas, people come on here and they portray either a more confident version of themselves than what is in real life, whatever. But it's known that people a lot of times act differently in front of a camera from how they act when they're just when cameras are off. How do you determine not only that you know someone again from watching a video, but now you know for a fact that from seeing their video they're not ready to be with like who the hell are these chicks to where you like you must be ready for one of like ready for what? So you never see it the flipped around. Oh, this woman's not ready to date you. She's too damaged. You never see that. Remember when chicks have screwed up stuff or whatever, you're supposed to accept them for who they are. But if you want acceptance, yeah, that'll be the day. So one-sided. Have you noticed that Akatsuki merchant that when you want acceptance, you can never get it. But if a woman has stuff that you don't like about her, there's always that one person or a couple of people telling you to get over it and accept her and give her a chance and all this other garbage. You ever notice that? Ever notice that double standard? Because I have. I remember I was on I think it was Reddit, and there was a chick who called herself an eternal optimist, which I think is just a really pretentious thing to refer to yourself by. But anyway, she was. I have to like go on that, which I really don't feel like going on there. But just I remember the conversation was something to the effect of me saying that I don't like overweight chicks, and she was trying to like push back on this and say, well, weight can be lost, but a bad attitude can't be deleted, or some kind of garbage. And I was just thinking to myself, it's like, isn't it sad that if a woman comes online and she says, I don't want to date a man that is overweight, nobody will tell her that she's wrong to believe, especially if she's skinny, right? Or just not in the same condition. But, for some reason, when a man doesn't want to do that, he must, you know, open his eyes to being willing to do this. Like it's just like, and I remember I gave another comparison where there was a guy because I said before I will never watch Captain Marvel. Like I didn't like her for 10 minutes in Endgame, so why would I want to sit through 2 hours of her? There was a person who I was on Insta garbage with, and they were like, "Oh, it's not that bad. You should give it a chance." And I was pointing out to them, it's like, it's so funny when I get upset that comic book fans, right, comic book film fans don't want to read any comics ever, right? Which I think is like a really bizarre contradiction. Um, I'm always told that this is their preference, get over it, accept them for who they are. But when I have a preference of something I don't want to do, I can't be accepted for who I am or for the decision I've made. You get where that's like more of the hypocrisy. Like anytime you make a decision, people can't respect it, they can't accept it. They try to like get you to change your mind about it. But then when other people make a decision, you're supposed to accept it and acknowledge as a choice they've made. I just think that's a really bizarre like, and nobody ever points it out. You're supposed to be so accepting of all these other people, but then if you want some of that back, I mean, I guess I'd rather her believe that than because the self improvement people, they never stop. Remember the idiot make music, build a model kit? It's a very interesting paradox. I'm telling you, man, people are just they're just they say things don't make any sense to me. Like I was telling you about how on Twitter it was reported that the foe might play Goblin again, and then I was like, oh my god, that'll be so cool. And because I like his performance. I think he's one of the better villainous portrayals in any of these films, right? So somebody comes in there, it's like two or three different people, and they go, "No Way Home was the perfect send off for his character. We need new villains." And I was like, why? Like, if people like this man's performance, and he really hasn't had a major role in any of these films in like 20 years up until last year, why is it like that? But like we don't even have to discuss it like that. They'll be completely fine with Holland playing his character for 9 movies, 15, 12. But then if you want to have the same villain in 3, oh my god, it's too much. Like it's just stupid. So I said people are just anti everything. So if we bring a villain back for 3 movies, it's too much. But if we bring a protagonist back for 9 or 12 or 15 movies, it's all right. How does that work? Somebody explain to me how that works. They can keep having the same protagonist over and over again for enough movies for like 3 trilogies. But if you have a villain for 3 movies, they might not even be the main villain in all of them, just a villain that's in 3 movies, it's too much. Mm. I'm saying these people just I don't get the hypocrisy. I really don't. But hey, we said before, it's just anti everything. And they always sit there and like act so shocked when you're upset over something they said. It's like, yeah, people want more of something that they like. That's why we have shows that have been ended and over for sometimes 10 or 20 years, and people still are pushing for more, content. But it's like people, that people want more of something they liked, and you crap on the prospect of them getting more because you feel like it. You know, it's really sad how miserable some people are. Like I said before, that guy that did the stream, I don't know. I know that Jem was here for it, but Akatsuki Merchant, there was a guy that came to this one video that was about this actress should come back to the series, and he said no, and then like 2 people responded to him, basically like calling him out over his past. It's like you already don't like this person, but then you come to videos about whatever. It's weird. So he goes back to his channel and he makes this cry baby, woe is me video about how they're accusing him of wanting free stuff, even though he was literally caught during one of his earlier videos talking about he thinks that it's stupid to have to pay celebrities to interview them. He misrepresented what happened because he tried to say that they were accusing him of thinking that the celebrities owed him something when he was called out over the fact that he had said something. Or basically, he went to his channel and made himself the victim, as if these people were like coming to his channel and it's like, no, you came to someone else's channel who wants something different from you, wrote an antagonistic comment in the comment section, and then people called you out for it. Like, and I gave the example. I don't really like. I would prefer Taz Rodriguez. Maybe if it does, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. But if I go to the comment section of someone making a what if Tasman 3 happened, or why it should happen video, and I go, no, I can expect people who want that movie to get made to come and be upset with me. So I know that any nasty comments I get from what I wrote are a direct result of me seeking them out and coming to their channel where they want something and the person who runs it wants it as well, and writing something antagonistic. But see, he cuts that part out. He tries to play victim, talking about I never use my disability to get ahead. And like, but then why are you bringing it up? Nobody, like I saw the comments. Nobody said anything about his his disability. No, that video was terrible. It's got about 200 views. It really should have one view. We were talking about that before. Some of the stuff on this website that gets attention is really sad. Just from a creative standpoint, like people make videos aren't even original and they get like a whole bunch of attention. You're like, what? Oh, let me say hello to James. You know, people are just always opposed to something. That's why I said it's best to just ignore people online when they start. I guess if I was a company, I would acknowledge if a bunch of people say they want something, but I would probably not acknowledge if there were loads that if there were like a couple who were like this can't work because X, Y, and Z. It's like how do you know? Do you have a time machine? That's really what it seems like. There's always that one person or there's like a group of people who are just opposed to stuff. Just and I said before, I call them anti everything because it's one thing to read a script or see a movie or like see a trailer and like be put off by something, but when you just hear of an idea, like a very thin outline of something, just like I give an example. Um, I want to make a movie that stars James S as the protagonist, right? He's got the main role. All like if you say you're opposed to this movie, you're anti everything. You don't know what the story is, you don't know what the script is, you've never seen James's acting ability, but you're gonna tell me this can't work. You literally know nothing about this film other than one person that's gonna be in it. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ. Really sad. They're just always opposed to something. But it really does feel like they don't even know what they're opposed to. Like I saw a video a few days ago. This guy was talking about the new Beetlejuice sequel that got announced a few weeks ago won't be able to do that well in today's environment. I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't know anything about this movie. You know, two people are coming back and who it's apparently going to be headed by or directed by, and that's it. No trailer, no plot summary, no script. Just these two people are coming back for a sequel of this movie that came out 30 years ago, and you're like, no, this can't work. We've never seen a sequel to a movie that was 30 years old do well. That's never happened before. Oh, where do these people come from? Where did James go? He just disappeared. He said hello and dipped. I'm still laughing at the guy from that weird guy that was in my comment section that you had come to your channel. Because I just thought it was funny. It's like I don't you would like because of the way YouTube is formatted now, where you have to you can't like click on the channel on a stream. You have to type the name in and then look them up. I'm still here, just don't know what to say. Oh, do you remember the stream I did where there was that chick that wrote that dumb crap about I care more about the killer if I'm being honest? And then you were saying that some people just like the killer, and I was explaining that it's not about liking the kill. You know, like this. There's not an issue with liking the antagonist. The issue is when you want them to succeed, when what they want to do is kill innocent people that have never done anything to them. You know, like that. That was the problem. I like that's why it sounded psychotic to me. Um, yeah, that person got like blocked me, but not over the video. Over he had to type my name and actively search for me to leave a dumb comment on my video. Well, that's what I thought was funny because the smaller a channel is, the harder it is to even find them. Especially like you don't have some name that really stands out, just a, you know like a first name and a letter. So for him to do all of that just to write his comment, I thought like, wow, they really because I figure like they don't really mess with anybody that's on a tiny stream with like less than 10 people watching, but they really do that. They come over and they write weird stuff to you when the stream's over. My favorite thing is when someone that stops speaking to me, like they know if they know my channel, they unsubscribe. Like that's really gonna do something. Like oh no, this one person clicked the unsub button. Oh, you know, like hell. Every time, you know, the worst part is like every time I speak to somebody and they do that, it doesn't matter because like when they were subbed, it didn't matter. They didn't watch your stuff. They didn't comment on any of it. Like you know, it's really funny. It's like oh my god, this one person that I was talking to before they lost their goddamn mind. Oh, they unsub. I don't think I can go on because I'm gonna retire. And then you look at like their history on the channel. They left one comment, if not maybe like some number that is like a early double digit, like 10 or 20. It's never like, oh man, this person left 500 comments before they left. You know, it's always someone that you barely saw, never engaged with your stuff in the first place, except for maybe a stream or a video. That broad told me she was gonna watch my video, uh, and had it in her like some kind of like tab or whatever, and then never wrote anything on it. As far as I know, never even watched it. What a cock tease. I worked hard on that video. I edited it. I had the script. You know, you cut out all the stuttering. I was like, damn, you know. I really wanted somebody to see that video. Well, whatever. Just that's how people are. They gas you up just to, you know, do nothing with it. The point of a villain is to be an obstacle for the heroes to overcome, not a genocidal fantasy for psychotic people. Yeah, but that's what drives me crazy. Like, okay, I like the Goblin in the first Raimi film, right? But I don't. Why would I want him to succeed? He's killing and attacking innocent people for the most part. There's some people he goes after that are like directly doing stuff to him, but like trying to kill Spider-Man. I like Spider-Man. Why would I want him to get murdered by this film's villain? Even if I like the film's villain, I don't. I'm not rooting for the villain because he's trying to kill someone who's a much better person than he is. Same thing with Doc Ock in the second one. I like Doc Ock, but I don't want him to blow up New York. Like what? I mean, you look at Child's Play. It's like I like Chucky as just as a character. I think he's way more interesting than these silent ones. But I don't want him to kill a little boy or steal the little boy's body. Like I just like I don't understand where people like every time someone says they're rooting for the villain, I'm always like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, and it's not even just with horror movies. Like, I remember I saw somebody who said they were rooting for Ozai in The Last Airbender. I'm like, why the hell would you want the Fire Nation to rule every village with every nation with an iron fist and like take over the world. Like what what about that? Or do you support over the protagonist? Like it's weird. Every time I hear somebody say that, it's like what? I'm telling you, every time someone says they're rooting for the villain, I don't understand. Because 9 times out of 10, the villain wants to do something that's irredeemable or awful or screwed up. I don't get it. Oh, it's definitely a genocidal fantasy. You know, the funny thing is, like if I'm playing Dead by Daylight, for example, and I'm playing as killer, then I'm only doing it because that's my job as basically the villain of the match. But a lot of those survivors just act like total pricks. Like they when they do the teabagging and all the rest of that stuff, like they're very unlikable, just enough for you to not really feel bad if something happens to them. But yeah, I was that's one person I won't be missing. Ozai was literally a fascist dictator who abused his children. Why exactly would we want him to win? Because you think he's hot? Pretty much. A lot when people get horny, they basically just turn their brains off about like who's good and who should be supported. It's really sad. Um, yeah, just I don't understand these people. But what the thing about her that really pissed me off is that it's like I write a horror movie where I go out of my way to make the four protagonists all very likable people that you want to see survive through this. And it's like it's such a disservice to me for you to say, "Oh, I care more about the antagonist with no personality, with no redeeming qualities over the people that are actually sympathetic and in my opinion well characterized." So, I was very disgusted with her after that. But whatever, she's just another stupid broad that will never write anything, and that's why she can say dumb things like that and lack any type of self awareness. People are just really weird, just the way they interpret stuff, and which I shouldn't be too surprised by because when you're online, you are kind of bizarre characters. But you know what I'm saying? There's really like nobody with redeeming qualities that these people even like support. Like if you said you were rooting for Zuko, um, I don't know if I would root for him to capture the Avatar, but as far as like to become a better person, I would say, all right, whatever. Because he didn't really do anything that was irredeemable, and that was like a planned out arc for him over the course of the show. But I don't know how you root for someone who has no redeeming qualities at all, other than the fact that he's voiced by Mark Hamill. Like that's his only thing that even like makes him slightly interesting. That shows you where their allegiances lie. They'll simply follow the one who they feel horny, regardless of the harm they're trying to cause to others. Yeah, it's really sad. Well, it's sad to me because I look at it from the standpoint of if I'm writing a story where my job is to have because these movies have a protagonist for a reason. They want you to like this person and want to see them survive. So I feel like if you like the the antagonist to the point where you support you hope they kill a protagonist that I spent the entire film trying to make likable, trying to characterize, trying to get you to support their survival. I feel like that's a disservice to me. Like that's directly disrespectful to the part because these films would not like yeah, I know they all try to be like, oh, the villain is like the main draw, but they have a protagonist for a reason. They have someone that you as an audience member who is sympathetic towards good people want to see survive. So it's just such a stupid like thing for them to even say. But I hope this clarified, James. I'm not upset that someone likes a killer. Like I like Chucky, but I don't want him to kill Andy. Like why would I want a doll to kill a little boy or steal his body? You know, like I like Freddy, but a lot of people he kills, I'm not supporting that happening. Like I'm not rooting for him. I don't want to just kill innocent teenagers didn't do anything to him. So I hope we clarified. It's not about liking them. It's about so just like I like Cell. I don't want him to blow up Earth and kill the whole cast. Like what the? It's bad enough Boo did that in the next arc. But James, you understand what my disposition was. You can like a villain, but you also can like when you start saying you support them more than the protagonists who are likable. I think that's crazy. I think that's really nuts. I don't want you to have any more misconceptions and misstatements or misinterpretations of what I've had to say. They'll simply follow the one who makes them feel horny. I've seen some people say they were hoping that Loki would win in Avengers. Like, okay, I get that you think he's hot, but he still wants to enslave Earth. So, yeah, I understand. I just hope the other people will understand. Well, I don't really here's the thing. I don't speak to most people that like these types of films. Like most of them I don't even talk to. So what kind of weird stuff they write usually doesn't bother me. When I'm directly engaging with someone and they write something like that, I feel more offended because of the stuff that they've been told in regards to what I'm trying to do with my own story. So um that was the whole issue with her that you say something like that to me when I'm doing this. I still am laughing at the people who said they were rooting for Thanos. I'm like, look, he's one of in my opinion, one of the best movie villains. Period. But there's no way in hell you're going to get me to sign off on supporting him killing half of the world, half of the universe, including innocent children. Like I no, no, like still an interesting, good character, but not something I support or would find my like. Why would I want that over the Avengers winning? I don't get it. So I said people are so weird with the stuff they want. It's kind of crazy when you think about he killed off basically everyone that was introduced after phase one except for like Rocket. Like killed all the Guardians, killed all the newer members of the Avengers. It was really nuts. It's like the only person from phase one, the only two people from phase one he got rid of were Loki and Bucky. So if he got his way, we wouldn't even be able to have any more Avengers because they would the newer cast would be gone. No, people really drive me crazy when they say stuff like that. I'm gonna do some show, like some new show at some point. It's gonna be some episode where they have like a crazy fangirl that is saying she's rooting for the villain to kill everybody. Because that's the first thing that comes to mind, like when I think of stuff like that, where there are a lot of people who like support serial killers, like they actually write stuff to them, like, oh, you're just a misunderstood, the little groupie crap. It's like that's what her saying that reminded me. I was like, yeah, I'm good. It's like, what the hell are you rooting for? That's why I said people make all kinds of decisions that I'm left scratching my head about because I don't understand it at all. People are just they're really they're interesting in just how varied their responses to stuff can be. Um, like when you see a movie that a bunch of people say is good and other people who say it's terrible, stuff like that. But they're also interesting because a lot of times they'll have like certain reasons for why they believe or like something, and then you'll have some people who genuinely want to know why they feel this way, and then other people who just don't care, like they don't even bother asking. You know, so it's really I get why people would root for Thanos, but erasing half the universe, nah. It's like okay, I could say I get why people would root for uh Killmonger, but this is still a character, even if he's sympathetic, who said that he wants to kill innocent children. So, like, I don't, again, the support only goes so far because when you look at the underlying problems with what they want to do, it's not good. No, what Killmonger wanted to do still wasn't as bad as what Thanos was to do. He's not going to erase half the universe, like, but it still is screwed up. It still isn't something that I can get behind or back. Like, what the hell? You could also make a villain sympathetic without giving them this incredibly tragic backstory to accuse their abhorrent actions. Yeah, I already told you that. And James can attest to this. But like with Friday the 13th, Jason's mom is a way better character than he is because he goes out and kills people just because he feels like it, and she actually has a motivation. She wants to stop the camp where he drowned from opening up again, as to prevent kids from being killed as well, just like her son was, or at least as she thought he was. And actually, she has a lot of likable traits, like how she doesn't target any of the children that are at the camps, even if she has the opportunity to do so. But this is still not a character I would root for because I don't, you're still killing innocent camp counselors who weren't the ones responsible for what happened to your son. But you get the idea. It's still more nuanced and complex than I am evil, just be evil. Let me go kill people. So that's why I think she's a way better character than her son is. Cultural icon he may be. I think why these people root for villains is because they are very hateful people and love to see others suffer. Yeah, there are a lot of people like that. I'm not trying to play the psychiatrist angle, but I have seen some people who, when like they'll go in the comment section, when this person got stabbed, I cheered. When this person died, I was smiling. Just all kind of weird stuff. And you do see that in real life too, where you'll have people who will celebrate the fact that somebody passed away. Like, you know, it there's a lot of like screwed up. That's why I always have to remind myself, when you have films that are seen by hundreds of thousands or millions of people, there's going to be one or two or a couple or maybe even a few hundred sick people that see that and get the wrong idea from it, or support something that wasn't part of your vision. Like, you didn't intend for them to look at it this way, but they see it that way anyway. These people remind me of that one person you said wanted to stab a child. Yes, because they're well, that person is very deranged. But yeah, they're the same type of people who would be okay with that. As long as they think you're hot, you can do whatever you want. So I said something is wrong with these people. That's why I said I think like sitting back and discussing films with people is not a bad thing. But when you like, there's certain opinions I really just don't feel like listening to. Like I don't understand where if a film has a likable protagonist, you would root for the person who's trying to kill them. I don't get it. It's really bizarre. Yeah, they don't really seem to they're really deranged. That should be the first clue. But there's just a thing about them where they don't really care if they're saying something that like sounds because they always say, "Oh, it's just fiction." It's like, yeah, but even if something is just fiction, I don't understand where you watch this story and then you back the villain. I don't really get it. Like why you want them to succeed when you have much more likable characters as your leads. Like I don't really understand that. Like I don't know why someone would root for Frieza during the Namek arc when the people he's trying to kill, the Namekians, don't do anything to him. They're just these peaceful individuals that live amongst each other that have their planet invaded. It's just weird to me. Oh, it's okay that this person literally massacred thousands of people. Look at how they are when they take their shirt off. Like I said, Magneto is one of the greatest villains in comics, period. But he's still, I would like when he goes against the X-Men. I want them to beat him because a lot of the stuff he wants to do is screwed up. Holding nuclear weapons with his magnetic powers and to where the whole world feels terrorized. It's just you know I just think that when you have likable heroes who are on the side of right and you say you support you're rooting for the villain, I don't get it. That's just the way to put it. I've never watched The Dark Knight and said, man, I would love for Joker to blow up Gotham. Like it's weird. So I said people just they're in all kinds of stuff I can't wrap my head around. Just in terms of like what they like and what they think is good and what they want to see. Mm. Yeah, it's really sad that people act like this. Do they believe that type of stuff? I guess I just have to remember that if enough people see something, you'll get someone who has like a bizarre viewing of it. Like they look at it in a different way from what everyone else does. It's really really sad. That's why I don't feel like having conversations with people about a lot of this stuff because there's just certain view like when people are saying, "Oh, I don't think this movie is good" or whatever, like at least I can kind of work around that. But if you have a built-in thing to where you just always support the villain no matter what, I don't know what else to tell you. So I guess it's because I think it's antithetical to like I remember with Civil War, one of the things people really liked about that movie was you were allowed to interpret which side was on the right. um, like between the two factions of protagonists. So if you rooted for one side over the other, it wasn't necessarily wrong because both sides have people who have the best intentions and are heroes above, anything else they may be. So a film like that's actually when someone is rooting for one side or the other, it's actually kind of complex and nuanced. But with horror films, it's literally an evil person and a bunch of people who are trying not to get killed by that evil person. And I don't get where if the protagonist in that is the likable one, why you would want to see the killer kill them. I don't really get it. Whatever, just it's weird. Magneto is well written because he's compelling and has a very understandable motive, but the story does not make excuse. No, that's why for Uncanny X-Men 200, they have him on trial for all he did, for all his crimes. They don't sit there and the thing is, a lot of these movies don't actually do that. They don't try to get you to feel sympathetic for this screwed up evil person, but the fans and the people that watch are like, I want them to kill everybody. I am rooting for them. Like I'll give you an example. I could make a movie. Let's say I have just an example. I make a movie where there's a killer who just like when he sees people's blood, he smiles. And so every time he goes around and kills somebody, he's smiling, he's grinning, he's giggling, and he's got his shirt off, he's got muscles. There's nothing sympathetic about this man. He's a total psychopath, right? But because some, mostly chicks, think he's hot, they will try to be sympathetic toward him. They'll say, "Oh, he's just mentally ill and he wasn't treated." It's like, but the film itself doesn't get you to believe that. The film does nothing to encourage you to support this person. That's why I said like a lot of these stories don't actually have these messages. They're like it's these other, in my opinion, weird people that these edgy bastards who like draw these types of conclusions. He was just mentally ill and he should have been treated. I'm like, no, he's evil, he's insane, he needs to be put in jail forever for what he did. So they assign whatever message they want onto your story. He just wasn't treated. He's misunderstood. Not at all. We know what he wants, and what he wants is very evil. And the fact that you could support somebody like that says a lot more about you than it does about him. Yeah, people are really they're interesting, I'll put it that way. But I do think a lot of it has to do with when you've never written a story before, you don't understand why certain stuff you might say will offend somebody. No, I just accept that there's something wrong with online individuals. Like that broad already was acting crazy before that, so I wasn't even too surprised. It was just another it's like icing on the cake when they act like that. It's like, well, you already didn't make any sense. Now you make even less. But even then, it's like I don't really like go out of my way to because I said before, if I saw that comment in the comment section, I wouldn't say a word about it. I wouldn't try to confront that person. Like I always say, when people have a view that I just think is insane, unless it's directly said to me, I almost will never actually address it. So When that was written to me, I was like, what? She did the same thing that the other ones do, where they act like they're so. 1 minute they're so interested in getting to know you, and then like 5 seconds later they're not. I remember I was like, "Oh, my brother was over this weekend. Oh, what did you guys do? What did you watch? Oh, I like this and this and this and that and the other." I said, "Chicks are just bizarre, man." Which, like I said, that one's gonna be the last one that does that to me. No more. If you leave a comment on my video and you got some handle on like to go to some other website and speak to them, and say no thanks. Because every time you speak to one of them, they always do this. They find you amusing for a while, but the one thing they love more than a friend is to see a friend fall by trying. In spite of everything they've told you, eventually they'll hate you. Why bother? Waited for that heifer to send a message back to me for 5 weeks. And I said, hey, look, I've waited a month. If you don't want to talk to me, I'd rather you just say it. And then blocked. So hey, chicks are weird, man. They change their tune very fast. I said, look, I allowed, whatever, them to be bizarre. Just don't come around me with that. If you don't sit there and waste people's time and pretend you're so interested in getting to, then do it with somebody else. So it's not my crusade to stop you. I don't care about you. After you make it to where I can't say anything to you anymore, I don't try make any attempt to try and reach out to you. She's like a special like extreme coward, by the way, because she has her stuff set up to where you can't say anything to her unless you follow her, or she follows you back or something like that. There's some kind of setting on Insta garbage where it's devised that way. But yeah, there's just another mentally ill person. I just wish they would stop pretending that they're so interested in getting to know you. That's getting really old. Do you like this? Do you like that? Shut up. No, every time they do the "oh, I want to get to know you" thing, I just roll my eyes because you've seen how it plays out each time, where they ask a bunch of personal stuff or they ask some personal stuff, and then it just goes nowhere. Like I remember the chick that oh, we've already discussed that before, Koski Merchant. People will turn on you so quickly. But I remember the chick that was like okay with me sending her a message every day, and then was talking about you can only send me one once a week. Before I just said to hell with it. Um, she, I still have the call where she was like, "Oh, are your parents together? Have you ever been hurt? Are you this? Are you that?" And it's just like, what is the purpose of asking all this personal crap of someone who you're just going to stop speaking to in a few weeks or a month? Like I don't get it. Yeah, lasts about that the period where she was like supposedly trying to get to know me. I swear, man, it was less than like it was about 2 weeks. And she's so busy, 50 hours a week working. Yeah, I believe that. I remember it was like a joke. Like every time I see a new Instagram notification, it's like, oh, is she finally responding? No. What about this week? No. The next week? No. The week after that? No. I was like, all right, this is stupid. So, that's the one thing I was glad about when I got blocked. So, okay, now I don't have to worry about this person ever responding, period. Hey, I remember that stream I did. What was the point? I'm still trying to figure out what the point was. Like, what is the point of asking somebody all this personal stuff just to throw them away after a few weeks, or to like show how disinterested you are in talking to them after a while? Like, it's weird. I'm so interested in getting to know you. That's why I'm gonna block you next week. But shh, I'm very interested in getting to know you. Definitely. Don't ever believe in any of these chicks again. Just a complete waste of time. Don't like if when the next time one of them sends me like writes on my video, I just ignore it. Like I think two or three of them. I didn't even say anything. I had some weird chicks on Skype trying to message me. And I remember the second one, I just like I cut off instantly. I'm not about to do this stupid song and dance again. Dude, Skype is the weirdest website now where like it's like every couple of weeks there's some weird broad I've never heard of before that sends me a message like, I want to get to know you. And this is like, go away. Look, you better leave me alone. We played this song and dance enough times. Yeah, LOL lasts about 2 weeks. It's always this little like you know what? Another good example. When I made the Why Do Women with Boyfriends Like Talking to Me video, what one of the chicks in that video, like both of them were two chicks I stopped speaking to after like 2 weeks, like within about half a month or 3 weeks. Like it's never a full like 30 days or longer than that. Sorry, they find you amusing for a while. And I told you they always find some way to like put some erotic subtext over it too. Like I'm over here talking to this bimbo about movies. She says she has a boyfriend. Well, she doesn't say it when you first speak to her or at all in the first couple weeks because that's what they do. They like to pretend that they're single. But I'm talking to this person strictly about movies and entertainment, and out of nowhere, this heifer asked me if she can get a picture of me, and I'm just like, what the hell? Why do you need to see what I look like to speak? You know, it's just weird. You know, every time from that point on, every time one of them asks for a picture, I just say no. So I don't feel comfortable sending my image to you. So if you don't want to respect that, you can go away. I'm tired of being assessed over something that is not even relevant. Like that's what gets me. It's like these chicks always act like they're not romantically interested in you, but then they're asking all this personal crap and trying to get you to send them stuff. It's like what like talk about mixed signals, you know? I only like you as a friend. That's why I need to see what you look like. I only like you as a friend. That's why I want to know what's the other weird thing? Like where do you live and are you married? It's always a broad that does that. Do they show a picture of themselves? Why would they even ask for a photo? Yeah, they do. The ones that have asked anyway, but like it still is weird because again, it's like if you're not interested in me romantically, why do you need to see what I look like? What does this have to do with anything? Why does a bimbo that has a boyfriend need to see my face? It's like, man, you better get out of here. You better run. Why would they even ask for a photo? Because there's something wrong with them. So she can cheat on her. James, please rewrite that or delete that. I don't like the way that's phrased. No, just type it again and like get rid of that one. Like just retract the message. Yeah. I think a lot of chicks that are online act like they act like they're single or they don't mention that they have a boyfriend until it's like a Freudian slip. Like you can speak to one of them for multiple weeks and they'll just never mention this guy, and then they'll randomly bring him up like, "Oh, I can't use my car right now because my BF is using it." I'm like, "Yeah, goodbye." I'm telling you, when I found that one broad had when I was like living with some guy or whatever, I think I must have sent her one message or two after that, and that was it. It's like I'm good. Go talk to him. Don't be part of your damn harem. I still think that's the most. If you're hot enough for them, yeah. Well, the one I just mentioned, I never saw what she didn't ask me for a picture myself. The other one did though, and it was weird. Like I said, we're all tired of chicks and all their mixed signals and little weird tactics and tips and tricks. I'm not interested in this woman romantically. That's why I'm going to ask her for a picture of herself. No, they're just a bizarre group of people. If you're hot enough for them. Dude, nobody's hot enough for them. That's why they're on Tinder and all these other stupid websites trying to catch some banana. Like, James, what I think is really interesting is like when remember we talked about how with the dating websites, there's always something where it's like if it's abroad, there's like they have high standards because all the guys in real life weren't good enough for them. But then all the ones over the computer, like basically, it's really like I'll never believe that send them a picture makes a difference because they always like they wouldn't be talking to this many guys or even on here if they found somebody in real life. Like they go on these websites to fulfill their little BS fantasies of this perfect man, and then that's why they end up staying, by themselves forever, or like still on these sites trying to catch some banana because no one's ever able to live up to their unrealistic fantasy. No, that's why they're still on there looking, trying to catch some straws. If you're hot, nobody's hot enough for them. That's why they have to go on all these BS websites to try and catch some banana. Mm. I tell you, the ultimate like thing that just made me say chicks are impossible was going on because the dating websites are like whatever, but just like Tinder really is the perfect place to find that out when you just keep swiping right on all these different chicks and you don't hear anything back from any of them. It's like, hey, this man found 100 chicks attractive. How many said something back? Maybe like two. Oh my god! Or when we would go on Reddit and they'd be like, "I'm so lonely. Somebody please speak to me. Please talk to me." And then you go and send them a message and they've got like 30 guys sending them stuff. I told you about the one that said she had too many messages to handle. So I said, like trying to talk to chicks now is just a joke. That's why when one of them goes online begging for men to speak to her, you know what I say, right? Someone mail me a box of tissues. A woman wants attention. I'ma quit. I don't even bother just talking to any of them anymore. Like you can't even be platonic with them because of the mental illnesses they have where like it takes a month to send somebody a message, or I'm too scared to have a call with someone, or let me ask you all this personal stuff just so I can unfriend you or stop speaking to you a week or two after that. Like no one wants to put up with that stuff. And they I guess they think because they have a triangle, I'm going to be more incentivized, but I'm sorry. Been there, done that. Like I said, a lot of the schemes they do now, if this is like 5, 6, 7 years ago, I'd be more open to like putting up with it. But I'm sorry, a tight vagina won't save you this time. So thanks for showing up, James. Kotsky Merchant. I'll be doing another stream on most definitely Saturday, but maybe either Wednesday or Thursday. So have a good rest of your Monday.